was born in the gutter, facing life, but
Ain't today his birthday?
Yep. These motherfuckers wanna see me die. So who am I? Try to warn them. I'm a niggas fly. Hey, remember me? Damn that Hennessy. Let me proceed. My definition of some thug shit. Y'all don't hear me? Now that it's poppin', ain't no love, bitch. I maintain in the game, in the guns where I still kick it. I'm trying to hustle up a meal ticket. I'm still wicked in my ways. I hustle to my dying days. Ain't nothing wrong with getting paid. So nigga blaze.
What's happening, world? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Cognac Confessionals. I'm your host, Deshaun, here at Where Media Meets Studios in conjunction with VJ TV, Feral Films, History in the Making Entertainment, Keep It Cloudy Productions on this beautiful Friday. Y'all know, June 16th. It's Pac's birthday. You know what I'm saying? Happy heavenly birthday to one of the GOATs. You know? Yeah.
Some say the GOAT.
Yeah. No? Dang.
Did so much in such short time.
Yes.
And he just got awarded with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd to me how that took so long.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have been happening, what I heard.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, welcome everybody. Hope y'all having a good day. Hope your week was great. Got another great show lined up for y'all tonight. Let everybody introduce themselves as usual.
Hey, what's up? It's the one and only Pharaoh the Most. Absolutely doing the most.
The most.
Peace, everybody. Elisa Victory. I'm going to talk a bit more about all the different hats I wear, but I'm Oakland raised, raising Oakland. Happy to be back on the show.
Exactly. Thank you for being on. I mean, she's been on a few times. You know, this sister here is be putting in that work. She wears many hats. You are a delegate of
The Democratic Party. Okay, so you want me to list all my titles?
Yeah, wear your hat. Pop your collar.
I'm a civil rights lawyer. I focus on labor and employment, also criminal justice and policing. I am also a union member myself, working for my own workplace contract. I serve as the local politics editor for the San Francisco Bayview newspaper, and make sure you follow them on all social media, SF Bayview News. And I also was re-elected actually, to my seat as a delegate for the Democratic Party. This time I got the most votes out of everyone in the whole district, and so I'm also elected to the executive board of the Democratic Party. Thank you. So that election just happened in February. Just last month was the annual convention where my next term officially started. So I'm only a few weeks in, and it's a 2-year term, so I'll be serving until 2025.
That's what's up. For the people that don't know, let's break it down to them. Yeah. Demographic area of your title.
Yeah. I'm a delegate for this assembly district. This assembly district is 18, and it includes Oakland, Alameda, and Emeryville. We shifted borders. It used to include San Leandro. So we've got all new assembly district boundaries, but there are 80 assembly districts throughout the state. So multiply that by at least 14 elected delegates. There's a lot of delegates, and I'm one of them. Again, we'll be serving to represent this district to the executive board out of all the 80 assembly districts.
That's what's up. And how are you today?
I'm pretty good. It's Friday. It's Pac's birthday. I'm back on Cognac Confessionals to confess some things to y'all.
That's what's up.
So I'm feeling good. I'm excited. It's pretty sunny out. Always happy to be talking with my brothers and to be in Deep East Oakland.
Deep East Oakland, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shouts out to my attorney. Cheers. You need to pour. Can't toast it in glass.
Okay. I'll just, toast my water.
Okay. Yeah, toast your water.
So I won't mess up the bad vibes.
Air clickers.
It's a great day.
To a great show. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What has happened on your leadership journey since you were on the show last year?
Well, I was on the show last year for a really specific reason. I was actually a candidate for Oakland mayor in the November election. I was one of 10 candidates, but I was the youngest candidate. I was a renter. I was working pretty much full-time the entire campaign, and I was a grassroots candidate. I was focusing on outreaching to people, educating folks, registering people to vote almost every day on the campaign trail. And I came in 4th place out of all those 10 candidates. Oakland has ranked choice voting, so you could vote for up to 5 people on the ballot. And I ended up coming in 4th, and the people who got more votes than me had to out fundraise me 20-1, where I'd had the benefit of a lot of independent expenditures and support, and I had the community support. And the data shows that once I was cut from the race, all the votes go to the next person that was ranked, and my votes decided who would become the next mayor, who's our current mayor. So I learned a lot on that journey. It didn't turn out ultimately with me being elected, but I built so much momentum around the Victory for Oakland platform that was all about centering Oakland's workers, our residents, addressing long-term problems, basic things like potholes. And so I'm still committed to the Victory for Oakland vision. That's why I talked a bit about my work with the Democratic Party. I still do a lot of legal leadership and advocacy on all the topics that were important to me in the race, like criminal justice, economic justice, housing, all of those things. And so, that has helped me transition into some of the new things I'm doing, like being the local politics columnist. So I write monthly about just current events, about the budget cycle that's happening, about the pothole blitz that our mayor had announced, and just keeping folks informed. Right now, everybody can attend council meetings or read some of these long memos and updates from their city or county. So I'm helping to try to break down complicated things and government work to everyday folks who just want to be informed, want to know how they could get involved or have more of a voice in the process. I'm also going to be launching a new space in honor of Juneteenth that's called the Black Unity Council. So I'm hoping to do a little bit more in terms of like voter registration, civic engagement through that space.
Okay.
So when you say Black Unity for Juneteenth, and not to be adversarial, but many of us who've been celebrating Juneteenth for the longest are quite disappointed because people who are not they share the same skin color, but not necessarily the same ethnicity, are now starting to center themselves in Juneteenth celebrations, Juneteenth type media, and there's many of us that are frankly quite upset about that. And I understand that there's some people who prescribe to more of a Pan-Africanist view, and also some people that believe is celebrating the diaspora, so to speak, but some of the ADOS people are feeling like their position is being co-opted. So when you say Black Unity, are you talking about Black Unity across the Pan-African type thing, or are you talking about strictly for people who are descended from like ADOS?
You said a lot, brother. One, I'm upset with you. My family is from Galveston, Texas, and from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, I was born in Galveston.
So,
I wasn't directing that towards you. I'm talking about your term.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you use the terminology Black Unity.
I'm getting there.
'Cause there's some people that feel like we're all in it together.
Yeah.
So the unity doesn't matter if you're from, if you were born in the Caribbean or your parents are from the Caribbean, this person from Africa, this person is from Galveston like you and I.
Yeah.
That we're all in it together. So there's some people that do say that, but there is some people, and their voices are starting to get stronger. They're saying, hey, we're being co-opted. So
Absolutely. Well, Black Unity Council is again being launched, and public going for Juneteenth, but it's not a Juneteenth specific celebration or event. It's a new space that's to actually have these very conversations, right? We need to have more spaces where Black people can talk about our differences, talk about identity, talk about the issues.
and we have more
acutely
similarities
affecting
than
us.
differences, because
Absolutely.
oppression is oppression across the board.
Absolutely. And we can talk about it. We need to educate some of our folks, right? Some people don't know the history of Juneteenth. That's why there's all this misrepresentation and using all types of symbols from across the diaspora, because people aren't doing the work to understand how it's different from
Thank you.
things
That
that
was very
are
well
about
said.
Pan-African celebrations. Juneteenth is not, right? It's about literal freedom from American slavery. right? The colors are red,
Oh
white,
my
and
God, I'm
blue.
gonna have a poster of you up on my wall because you just
I mean,
articulated much better what I was
absolutely.
trying to say.
A lot of times
This
our
is the difference
arguments-
between a person that's very smart and a person that just looks smart. But you look smart too.
No, all our people are smart. Again, we just gotta learn how more to talk to each other. And like you said, differences are okay. Even our disagreements are okay. But I think we gotta get back to how are we disagreeing? How are we having those conversations internally?
Mhm.
Are we, gatekeeping some of the things that are true to us, or letting other people decide what is defining us and
And
what
that's what I
direction
want
we
to
should
say.
go?
That because I've seen some of the conversations have turned adversarial, especially across social media, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh
no.
yeah, social
Let's
media
have the
always do that.
let's
to
have
you.
the discussion, like like
I mean, it's history. As
Yeah.
you said, some of our families, this is not new information. This
Right.
is not anything to debate. This is our life. This is how I was raised, knowing that this was part of my family's history.
Right.
Celebrating, having red velvet cake, all those things are important because the colors, red, white, and blue, are essential
Yeah.
to this holiday.
And that's another point because there's some people that are saying, "Oh, you can use red, black, and green," and we're like, "No, if you grew up celebrating it, it's red, white, and blue."
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, colors have meaning. It's like, oh, I just want to choose anyone's flag to celebrate. This is a ceremony. This is a celebration. This has now become a holiday nationally. But again, Black people and our families have been celebrating this, have known this history, kind of second nature. We didn't necessarily have to go to history class to learn it. We didn't have to Google, but those things are available if people are not sure.
My family is from Orange
If
and
you
Port
haven't
Arthur.
heard of it, haven't celebrated it, talk to the people that have, right? It doesn't need to be so hostile or adversary, but don't just start jumping in and making things up and then being upset if someone is trying to educate you or to correct you, because it is, again, about celebrating. That's important to Black people in this country,
You're really
right?
well
It's about
spoken.
respecting our traditions, our history, and our culture. That is part of American culture, right? This is our, Independence Day. It's our 4th of July. And
Yes.
so now everybody wants to be a part of it, which, I have my own thoughts,
Good.
but it's kind of to be expected. Now that it's a holiday for everybody, we have to include non-Black folks who didn't experience slavery or being a descendant of folks enslaved, who didn't grow up having these celebrations or conversations, but now they get the day.
Right, and just like I seen some, of course, on social media now. I seen, and now all I will say is social media, is a double-edged sword, gift and a curse. You damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
But I saw some, how they put the banners up on street lamps and whatever, Juneteenth, and there was a Caucasian couple on it on
I saw that
Juneteenth.
too, yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was real, because, with Photoshop and everything, people can do stuff and make posts to try to, play on your heartstrings.
And have everybody worked up.
Yeah, and I was like, I know this ain't that bullshit. But then a part of me was like, somebody might be, playing puppet master. But like you said, everybody wants to jump on the train when it's moving, but nobody want to,
Well, the Elon Musk type controls the algorithm, but what I end up seeing on Twitter is ADOS calling everyone else tethers and all kinds of slurs. I see them calling them cows and this and that and accusing the ADOS of being xenophobic. And then I see all these people starting to go at each other, slurs, this and that. So basically, no discussion or education is going forward. No one's being
Because-
informed. Everyone's digging themselves entrenched, and it's like there's no progress. While the
Absolutely.
social media, whoever controls the social media algorithm, it's not accidental.
Right. Oh, of course.
In my
Everything-
opinion, it's not accidental that we all are suddenly on an adversarial basis. I even see brothers on social media slandering Marcus Garvey, which is something I would have never thought in my 50 years on the planet that I would see someone typing negative things about Marcus Garvey, but that's how deep this Juneteenth battle is becoming across social media.
Anything that's about Black freedom, Black power, even just acknowledging our humanity is going to get some of that backlash. I simply posted
Hey, Tommy.
the flag and some of the news about, here's what the colors mean, here's some of the history. I had random pages on social media telling me that I was white, telling me that I must have rich parents and I should go and just ask them to pay for everything I need. Like, just all the comments I was getting because I simply posted, hey, y'all need to know the history of Juneteenth, and here's some images to help you understand that. So I expect it. I've seen it. It is a cycle, but it is toxic, and like you said, it doesn't help Black people progress when we're doing it to each other, when there's no education or real information in there. That's kind of why I want to launch Black Unity Council, to help us get back to things that are productive for us, that can help us still align around a Black agenda or some progress for our folks and the issues.
Right now we're talking about Juneteenth and who's being centered and who's feeling excluded, and then how we're being engaged in divisive tactics, and a lot of it is from the social media algorithm.
Right. So, what do you hope to accomplish with Black Unity Council?
So, Black Unity Council is not even my idea. I'm gonna be real. This is relaunching the Black Unity Council that was started back in the 1960s. At the height of Black Power movement, the founding of the Black Panther Party here in Oakland, we had Black clergy, where all of our faith leaders, all the churches were organized. They were even hosting, meetings and breakfasts for the Panthers and that work that was happening. But we had Black clergy start this thing called a Black Unity Council. They invited in civic leaders, people like Ron Dellums, who y'all might know, who was a former mayor of Oakland, may he rest in peace. He was also a former congressman who represented Oakland and other regions. And I was going through their archives, and I said, why don't Black people know about this? Right, I've been in Oakland my whole life, and I never heard this history. We hear a lot about the Panthers. We see them, there's still Panthers living. But we didn't hear about some of this other organizing, or how even the churches were getting down and active. And so I went to the African American Museum and Library in Oakland and just looked through some of the archives of what was this about? Like, the name already captured me of yeah, we need some Black unity. Like, what were they doing back in the 60s? It was the same issues we're dealing with. They were advocating. That's what I'm still trying to figure out, is what happened to the organizing, what happened to the power and the organizing and unity around that. And there's, again, a lot of the elders that were listed are no longer with us. So again, we're losing some of that history by not talking to each other, by not teaching each other. So I've gone to seek it out. Again, our library was a very helpful resource that had handwritten notes, that had people's phone numbers and addresses, that had, them collecting $10 from each other to go and print information to send to people. They had drafts of letters that they had written to the governor at the time about not making community college cost anything, about keeping education free.
That's a current topic.
And I was like, damn, if they had listened to this group, we could have all had free college.
The answers were there years ago.
Was already doing that. And so I was saying, wow, this is the exact same space that's needed now. They were focusing on a lot of the same issues: contractor disparity, Black businesses, homelessness, Black youth. And we're trying to create a space where all Black leadership could come and to have a conversation, right? To be united or to sign onto those statements to other entities, to government. And so what I hope to do is to relaunch with the same purpose, the same mission. We're going to be focusing on registering people to vote. Again, something I did a lot of on my campaign trail, something I've been doing through the Democratic Party. But I've been focusing on registering young people, 18 to 25, to vote. Been focusing on registering formerly incarcerated people to vote. A majority of them are Black here in Alameda County. We had the right to vote restored for people who had served their terms in 2020. A lot of folks still don't know. The county registrar's office isn't informing people, right? We have to go out and meet our folks where they're at and inform them how to even get involved, what things are being decided without them at the table. We're going to have some town halls to again have a conversation. Our first town hall is going to be in August, and it's going to be focused on education and the special school board election that we have coming up. There's a lot going on again around education, what the curriculum is, reparations for Black students. It's been a years-long campaign here in the city of Oakland. So there's so much, but again, we're not having those conversations internal among Black people. We're not having them really with the folks that are directly impacted. We're certainly not listening to our youth. And so I hope to, again, bring back some of that robust conversation between Black folks so we can maybe move to having sign-ons, to having one strong Black agenda, to not attacking each other in social media and in public, that we can bring some of those disagreements and
not
some of those fights
dirty laundry
inside and have it in a healthy way, productive way, where we can still make some progress, where we don't have to, again, demonize each other just because we disagree on a specific policy proposal, because we want to vote a different way on an issue. And that's fine, right? Black people are not a monolith. We have differences.
We can
I
agree
do
to
want to
disagree.
bring African folks into this space, right? Just because they might identify as continental Africans or have a different story of how they came here, they still may be treated the same way when they come into contact with police, when they go apply for a business license, right? If they need any type of actual assistance from this government, there's still going to be barriers that other Black folks experience. And I've done a lot of work with African and Black coalition building, mostly with young people across our state. And we need our adults and everyone to really be focused on unity, unity, unity.
Well, speaking of unity, Keisha Henderson is in the comments, and she's got a couple questions. Her
Yes.
first question is, will the Black Unity Council be progressive given the climate of our politics in Oakland? Because if it's going to be a progressive movement, instead of just focusing on our Black race issue and not make it so political, then it can lose folks like me. Then she goes on to say, let's focus on the Black issues and remove the political party situation, because we can't force Black people to be progressive. And if you are Black and not progressive, then you are not woke or Black enough. I guess that's the consideration.
Thanks for the question, Keisha. This is not a space to try to carve out only specific people who agree. Again, this is for anyone who identifies as Black. And as I said, I understand that that means we have to be welcoming and be able to disagree politically on certain policy issues, on voter issues, on budget issues. This is a space for us to have those disagreements, to have education, to even find if we have some commonality. Again, I've worked with Black Republicans on my mayor's campaign because they still understood that Black people are at the bottom of every disparity in this city, and that Democrat and Republicans have failed us in many of the same ways. I'm a leader in the Democratic Party, and will let y'all know our democracy is in crisis, right? Neither one are serving the specific needs of Black people. So yes, this is not a space that is only for people who identify as progressive. The only qualification is that you identify as Black. And so I would be very clear about that.
Now,
It's
are
clear
allies
on
welcome, though?
to certain things. Again, not everything is about allyship. We have
Okay.
to even be willing to have conversations that are only open to us. I already have been through this in my youth organizing, my college organizing, being told that I'm racist, that I'm anti everyone else if I want to have a conversation with Black people, with my peers, my community, my elders, youth that are coming up after me. And as Black folks, we cannot be afraid to have that space. We cannot apologize for needing to take that time for ourselves. Again, there's allies in every space that I've seen. And so, again, back to Keisha's question, this is not just for Black progressives. I'm a part of enough spaces that are for Black people who want to be progressive. But I even think terms like progressiveness have not even really come from Black folks ourselves. That's not how we describe a lot of our political views. Again, the political parties don't necessarily align with Black people and what we would like to see. So I'm trying to actually pull us away and align with your thinking, Keisha, and hope that you will come out to our first town hall in August that will be talking about education. Right, regardless of how people feel,
Have
we
you
want to
and Keisha
hear
met?
from our students. I believe I follow Keisha on social media. If it's the
Okay.
same pages I'm thinking about. Again, you gotta be careful. Some of these pages will impersonate Black folks.
Mhm.
But I know that Keisha has been vocal on social media about a lot of issues in Oakland.
Mhm.
And again, I welcome all of that conversation. I'm not afraid to have tough conversations. I'm not afraid to even attack our political parties. Again, I am a Democrat. I'm a member of our county party and our state party. I was still illegally kicked off the ballot, and had to fight my own party, my own leaders to do what was right. Had to fight the city to not violate my civil rights to be on the ballot, my election rights. So there's a lot of issues that just being a part of a political party or designating yourself as progressive or conservative actually doesn't help, again, the progress. Doesn't help our conversation.
Okay. Recently, Keisha went semi-viral with a tweet. I know you probably know which one I'm talking
I
about.
don't.
There was recently a rash. There was several youngsters that were arrested for like 30, 40 burglaries or break-ins, right? And the charges were then dropped. And on social media, there was people who were saying that, well, as we know, Pamela Price is not necessarily popular right now because of some of the decisions that she's made, and she's being portrayed a certain way, whether that's just or unjust. But I know you're familiar with her. But also, I guess our mayor said a comment along the lines of she was not aware of what was going on. And Keisha called her to task on that because it sounded like she was
Going around the
not
bus.
present or kind of asleep at the wheel, as some people also chimed in and saying, and they were saying that as a former city council person and now as a mayor who basically kind of rode in on the progressive agenda, how could you not be aware, especially where the street level crime is accelerating? And Keisha called it a task, and then there were several people who it became a kind of a thing on Twitter. How did you feel about the mayor's comment that she wasn't even aware of what was going on? Or are you familiar with that?
I haven't seen the specific exchange. I will just say, any mayor who is running the city of Oakland should be acutely aware, again, of the documented studies the city itself has already done about the disparities, the lack of equitable resourcing. We know we have a public safety crisis, and there's been so much input, consultations. We had a reimagining public safety task force that the city funded for a year that had all types of residents that had various political views, that had 80 plus recommendations. There's been so much discussion, and any mayor should be a part of those discussions, should have their ear to the ground to know what is happening, because those are the top issues that I ran on and that other progressive candidates ran on, of public safety, criminal justice.
Alyssa's being humble, but right now it's time to toot your horn. The reason why Shangtao won is because your votes,
Absolutely.
the votes for you gave her the push over. So
Absolutely.
you are one of the key contributors to her attaining this position. Is it disappointing to you, or you taking a wait and see attitude if she's kind of taking a position of, oh, I don't know what's going on?
It's definitely disappointing to even make those comments, right, and not say, even if you don't know, to say, well, help me. Where's the events? Can I come meet with you, right? There's a lot of stuff I didn't know about running on the campaign, and I would still say, I want to learn more. Send me links, send me articles, I'll read them and then follow up and discuss. Invite me to your neighborhood groups, and I will discuss. And so I think, one, I was not responsible solely for Shane getting elected, and that our votes
But
were
you were a
transferred.
contributing factor.
Our votes were transferred.
So
So
your
that means that
support
my
is closer.
voters were more likely to rank, and they were more likely to rank Shang in their top 5. So that once I was cut, most of my votes went to her.
Now, what
Again,
thing-
that's people's choice to vote the way that they did. We were put into a progressive candidate slate by community groups. We never, did any joint events. I had one joint event with Baba Hodge, who was the black man candidate that I endorsed as my number 2. And we worked together, again, with the more acute black agenda. And so I partnered with him, told folks to vote for him. And again, the way that the actual math worked out, my votes, once they were cut, my voters supported Shang more likely as their number 2. And so, yes, I've been very closely watching. That's part of my local politics column in the newspaper, is letting people know. And it hasn't been, oh, she's doing great and we're all progressive. It is like, no, what is this actually helping black people accomplish? What is she doing to actually follow through on her campaign promises? We're in a budget cycle right now. Her proposed budget came out in June, and the city council is going to have to vote on the final budget items. But they've actually made different amendments, ones that invest more in public safety and violence prevention. The one thing she clearly ran on doing, if she was elected mayor, was to double the Department of Violence Prevention's budget. It's one of the newest city departments. It has less than a tenth of what our city police department has. So there's still no competition of resources there. But instead, her proposed budget is to cut millions from this program. And this program actually,
So that's
this
a
department.
direct contradiction of the campaign promise.
Right. So I'm seeing contradictions in, again, her not following through on specific things she had committed to do on the campaign around public safety. And this department also runs town nights, which are starting tonight. I think 6 to 10. There's multiple areas around the city, parks, community centers that are having free events. And it's really to target our youth who often don't have things to do in the summer, can't afford things to do in the summer. It's also connected to like how we're investing in our young people. But that's one of their main programs that is rolling out right now. and those things could be at risk of being cut because the department's whole budget is proposed to be cut. So
one of the last questions
I have a lot of
in regards
concerns.
to the mayor is, do you think that some of this follow through comes from, as some people are accusing, a lack of focus, or she's running into entrenched roadblocks within the city? Because when you come into a space and you try to make radical changes, well, there's old boys and old girl networks that are in place who will undercut you at every turn. So even if you do have these intentions, it's not going to be possible for you to execute, and you'll look ineffective to the public.
Yeah.
But you're really being sabotaged at every point.
Well,
City
I
Hall
can't
can
say
be
exactly
treacherous.
what her thinking is or what the issue is, right? That's something she hasn't really messaged.
Is there a lot of treachery in City Hall here in
I
Oakland?
mean, I think over the decades, absolutely. But I also want to remind people, Shang, in her own words, said she was the most qualified candidate for mayor because she's had the most experience working in our city already. So all these things are not surprises around how our government works, what our budget, this deficit that we're in right now. She has been on council for 4 years before this. She was also a council staffer 4 years before that. And part of the accountability and what is she actually working on goes back to who really did elect her, who funded her. Again, she had almost $1 million of independent support, and she had many, many people who were supporting her with endorsement who didn't even want to support the slate, who didn't want to consider other candidates, even though it was a ranked choice election. So there were people who went solely all in for her, even my labor community, except for CWA and several of their actual members. But labor council and huge, heavy-hitting political actors like that went all in. My Democratic Party went all in. And so those are groups that I'm looking at of, hey, she ran on clear things. If she's not doing them, those are the people I would like to see stand up first to take her to task, to hold her accountable. And what does that mean? If you all funded and helped assist this person, were walking and passing out flyers for her, then what does that mean now? If services are being cut, or if workers are being cut, or if she's just not following through on what she's promised the public. So I absolutely think there needs to be more visibility, more public engagement, more public town halls. I don't know a lot of people who saw or heard from our last mayor, Libby Schaaf. Right? I really want to see a mayor that was going to change that relationship with the community, and I think that sets out how they address issues differently, how they policy make and budget differently if there's a deeper understanding, right, of the issues. Right? I live in violence. I live in the murder dubs. Right? It has that name for a reason. The first month I moved there, we saw multiple people shot. So those people died from their injuries. Right? It's happening all day, every day. So I can't forget it. I can't stop talking about it. And I want to see our leaders that are that committed to resolving these issues, to making progress in them.
Okay. Keisha said a few things. I know she said Shang Tao will not meet with anyone who will disagree with her.
I said, part of politics is not everybody is going to vote for you. Not everyone's going to agree with every single thing you do. Right? I was clear I wasn't running to be the mayor of just people who voted for me or supported me. I'm running to be the mayor of Oakland. Right? Of all the people who can't even vote, who aren't eligible to vote, people who are going to move here after I'm mayor. I am determined to make the best decisions for the city, for its people, and its future, regardless of how I might personally have a relationship with these groups or orgs. And so, again, that is a part of the job, right? It comes with the landscape. And as someone who has been elected for at least 4 years in the city already and has had to kind of balance those competing demands on her time, those narratives and those interests. But, one thing you did mention, DA Price, just one thing about her, she was very clear to set up a transition team, to put out a report of what she did to transition her office, to set in new policy or new directives.
She's been a lightning rod, though, for controversy for the last few months.
I think any black woman DA will be. Even if you look across the water at Brooke Jenkins, who has a very different philosophy and approach to criminal justice and to her job as a prosecutor, she's still getting attacked and getting called names and saying you're not doing enough and you're going to cause everybody to move out the
Brooke
city.
Jenkins is law and order as I've
Yes.
ever seen over
And so
there.
I'm saying the exact same comments are being made about people who are doing very different things, who have very different criminal landscapes in their cities. We even see DA Becton, the third and only other black woman DA, head of Contra Costa right now. They're in a huge scandal where the FBI has had to come in to partner with the DA to investigate Antioch police officers.
Mm-hmm.
Over
Yes.
40 of them are under investigation for racist text scandals.
Yes.
That was targeting black residents, targeting queer folks.
Some convictions are going to be overturned.
There's
too.
a lot that is coming out of cases that have to be dismissed because of all the rights that were violated. So I want people to, one, understand that these are black women that have degrees, that are experts in their legal field, that the arena of criminal justice and prosecution is very nuanced, right? There's many steps from you just being arrested. We see there's a lot of false arrests. There's a lot of racial profiled arrests. Do we want a DA to then prosecute everything? No, we still have to address the police misconduct that is happening if we want a criminal legal system with integrity, right? If we don't want to just be locking people up because they're black and the DA just signing off and rubber stamping that. So we do see DA Price says, no, I want to have a public accountability unit. She's charged at least one Oakland police investigator for bribing witnesses.
Yes, and the
Two
Charles
men
Butler-
have been
and the Charles
released.
Butler murder.
2 men have been released because of this, right? We've even had to dismiss some cases because of what's going on in Contra Costa, because their officers were involved in the cases here.
Right.
So again, people should also just take a minute and know that one news article doesn't cover all the evidence, all the nuance and timeline of any case, that they do not know all the specific legal parameters, right? A DA can't just throw away somebody with the key. There has to be specific things like evidence. Defendants have rights, right? They have rights
Yes.
against self-incrimination. They have a right to a trial and to drag things out and to make the DA have to prove, right? So there's a lot of issues that our DA has inherited that we're seeing other black women have to address, and they're all going about it in slightly different ways. But just know the DA is not solely responsible for crime, for criminal justice, and we've still seen racism like baked into the criminal system. And so what is the DA's job to help to eradicate that or to release people who were unfairly locked up? So that's some of the conversation we're seeing now, and of course people are upset with the status quo, where people aren't educated enough and it's becoming just a fight and an argument. And I want us to progress and recognize we have 3 black women DAs. They're all being attacked.
Of course.
Our community is even safer for doing that.
Definitely. I mean, anytime you have and I'm not going to use the term black, you already know how I feel about that. A melanated woman in these powerful positions and the stance that they've taken, like you said, you have to examine the system because you can't just come in and rubber stamp everything, like you said, the convictions, because you do have these pockets of white supremacy throughout all these different government organizations, police, sheriff, fire, medical, in the health field, real estate, everywhere. There's pockets of it. It's like the air you breathe. It's everywhere.
Absolutely. It's especially in California, even in the Bay Area, we have the
Yeah.
Vallejo police badge bending scandal. We have
Yeah.
LA County Sheriff deputy gangs being who are under investigation right now.
Police are the biggest guys.
Again, we have to just be real, right?
Yes,
That law
exactly.
enforcement are always following the law. They aren't always administering equal justice.
Mhm.
There's many actors in the criminal legal system that can stop some of those things from happening, that can go back and review. We should all want those things to be happening for a fair and just system.
Right. And then with social media, you got, like you hear about, Westfield Mall in San Francisco. You got all these different stores. Everybody's leaving because you got these groups. Like, and once again, social media is a double-edged sword. If all I show you is despair and a certain demographic of people committing crimes, even against a certain other ethnic group, when the real numbers dictate that it's a whole nother race that leads the poll overwhelmingly in crimes against the same ethnic group, but you got these pages ran by this ethnic group that's, oh no, it's the melanated people, it's the black people that are doing all these crimes against us. And I'm like, I hate crime. Period. Just like everybody should earn what you get. But if the playing
Crime
field
across
was,
the board, or crime in the matter of degrees of crime.
I just think I wish we lived in a world where everybody was able to have their own, and I wish the playing field was level to where
So
we
when
all
you
could
refer to
agree.
crime, you're talking about things like
Anything.
robbing, stealing.
Yeah.
What
Right.
about like
Everyone should be
drug
safe.
dealing or
I wish we didn't have to have all
violence?
that. Yeah. I'm being honest. I wish we didn't have none of that.
Yes. And it comes with really greater investments in peace
Yeah.
and people before they turn to violence or crime. If you remember, Oakland is one of the most segregated cities in America. We have a white enclave of Piedmont that is located entirely within our city's boundaries.
Mhm.
They're a separate city, have a separate elected officials, separate budget, separate everything, but you cannot get into there without driving through an Oakland-owned street because it's smack dab in the heart of our
Yeah.
city. But
Right.
it's prime real estate.
Piedmont is like the Vatican of the Bay.
Yes, they have at least 50K higher average income
Yeah.
for families there. And if you really compare their violence rate, their homicide rate, their robbery rate to the city of Oakland versus Piedmont, again, their numbers are going to be polar opposites.
Yeah.
And this is a city located entirely within the borders of our city.
Yeah. It's like,
Right,
what,
so I
14
really
blocks?
want people to think
Why-
about
why
how
don't
are
we
those
annex it?
enclaves and those parts have so little crime, feel so much safer, are much cleaner, have other services, right? They're definitely smaller, right, than the actual city of Oakland, but they're located right inside. So when we talk about place-based crime and all of those things, again, it's what are you really investing in? And if we're looking at models of safer communities, they don't have police on every corner. They don't have all their residents on probation and going to jail for every little thing, right? So there's still a different way that even their criminal systems are working differently or have a different relationship.
Should we annex Piedmont?
We're legally can't. They were chartered actually before us, so they existed before the city of Oakland. But there should be way more done in terms of actual communication, conversation, Piedmont paying its fair share, since again, you can't really do much in Piedmont without actually relying on some roads or service that's coming out of the city of Oakland. Again, to see such extreme racial disparity, income disparity, there has to be direct conversations. One of the first conversations I hosted on Zoom for my mayor's campaign was about white allyship, and was really targeting like the racial justice campaign in Piedmont and folks who were living in Piedmont, Montclair, and other wealthy, affluent parts of the city.
Keisha has a comment for you, Shizzy.
Oh, I seen it. I was gonna comment on it. I was letting you guys finish. Crime is happening. I get it. I get that. I understand that. And the thing is, what I was saying is, social media shows us the perpetrator of most crime.
Right.
But that's what we're shown. That's flashed in front of our face constantly. Is that a true number? No, it's not. Does it happen? Yes. We're responsible for shit that happens. But like I said, social media shines the light on us, but they don't shine the light on their own shit. On this ethnic group doing most of the shit. Or you have one ethnic group whose most crimes is committed against their own.
Yeah.
But just like social media and the news network, like they say the thing about black on black crime, which crime is just crime, period. Once then, y'all want to break the shit down to all the bullshit, that's just for stats. Stats is LeBron. When you want real shit, go to Kareem. So, you know what I'm saying? But
He's pushing my button on that one, but I'm not gonna
Start a
bite.
whole
We ain't
other
going in there.
argument for
I'm
the
just
Black
saying.
Unity Council.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
You're
bite.
right. That's why we need, independent media, black media. That's why I'm
Right,
working with the
'cause-
Bayview News. That's why I love coming on this show, because we need just diversity of media, right? Media
Yeah.
that people can trust, or that might dive deeper or talk to other people, right? Not just electeds, but the people that maybe are impacted by their decisions and their policy. So absolutely, you should question your media, question your sources, your friend, your random posts you follow on social media is not really a source and citation. So again, thinking about education and how much work people are doing to understand the issues before they try to speak and advocate on them. right? I had to do a lot, and I still don't know everything about everything in criminal justice, though I'm a criminal justice lawyer.
One of the things that I've found so impressive so far, that since we've been sitting here talking, is that several times you've mentioned being informed, getting the knowledge, basically putting into work the work to know what's going on. And is that something that you pride yourself on?
Absolutely. I'm about educate to liberate. My mother was the preschool teacher, my first teacher. She instilled in me just a strong value and respect for learning, and not just classroom learning, but learning from my elders, learning from our history and our traditions. I teach myself. I teach Black Studies to our youth. I teach Black Studies inside of San Quentin Prison. So I do this every day, is helping Black folks to access this, because I didn't have Black Studies in every year of my education, right? Some people don't have Black Studies until they're in prison, right? And so really thinking about how much access to our own education, our own knowledge base, our own history, all the wisdom from all of our ancestors that we've been cut off from, or that has been specifically banned or denied. Again, they're trying to change curriculum, even try to change the story of slavery, try to change the story of Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so I just think, yes, I am principled about really learning and moving from a place of being informed.
Let me ask you a question to segue into something a little bit different.
Okay.
You are part of a lot of coalitions.
Yes.
You're a lot of groups. You wear several hats: criminal justice, civil, this guy's lawyer, a lot of people's lawyers and stuff. It seems like you've really dedicated your life towards, serving the people.
Yes. I'm from Oakland.
Do you take time for Alyssa, and what do you do for entertainment when you're not out there fighting the good fight, as they say?
You're gonna hit me with whole other questions.
Because I know there's people watching that'll be like, I'd be curious about you, because by the time we get done, we're gonna have you looking like you can walk on water. And I read this book about Abernathy, and a lot of people saying how he betrayed Dr. King, but he said that part of why he wanted to show the human side of King is, he said, sometimes when a person seems so epic, so saintly, this and that people don't even aspire to even be like that person, because they're like, I can never measure up to, why would guys like us even try to put in any work for the city, because we could never measure up to the work you're putting in. So what's the human side of Alyssa when you're not fighting the fight? Because it sounds like most of your life is in service.
I'm energized by it. I'm energized by it. Dr. King said everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And service can just be, I'm volunteering once a year, right? It can be whatever you have capacity for, whatever you have the skill set to give. For me to take a break, I enjoy learning. I enjoy being with my community. I love this city. I love everything about it. I love all the different pockets and communities. There's still so much I can learn and people to meet from my city. But to really take breaks, sometimes I sleep. I just have to sleep for a whole day and relax. Have to really organize and get myself together to have a strong next week. I'll do things like, connect with my friends, go out with my husband. I have a lot of pets at home that keep me entertained, and always have somebody to throw around a toy or go on a walk with me.
Okay, we've established
try to get my
that you're
nails done. I
Superwoman.
definitely need to go.
But when
to go
there's
take care of my
somebody
nails and stuff like that. I've just saw some movies with my friends.
Okay.
I think it's being intentional, right? This work can consume you. There is so much that, we saw the Panthers, we had Black Panther houses where they were living together, living and breathing the movement work they were doing. And we still see what that led to and what it produced. But there still is the reality that we are people. We have other obligations. And you also can get really burnt out. And some people will leave the movement entirely. I think to sustain yourself, you do always have to step back and come back.
And what words would you have for someone who says, hey, I want to get involved, but like I said, I can't do it like superhuman like yourself. So would I even be effective?
I've been trained to be this way. I'm a product of Oakland Youth Together that literally taught me how to run meetings, how to be a facilitator, how to take notes. We think, I can just
so you didn't
figure
wake
it out.
up one morning talented.
There's somebody who's done it. There's somebody who's done it better. There's somebody who's already struggled through it. I'm big on mentorship and just learning through the experience, having someone tell me the downfalls so I don't have to learn them all myself, even though that is sometimes what you got to go through. But also, if you want to join Black Unity Council, make sure you go to my social medias or to the Cognacs page, click on the link at the bottom of the information. There is a link where you can sign up and give us your email to be invited to the August town hall I mentioned, where there's volunteer opportunities, even if you want to just learn how to register our people to vote and talk to them about civic engagement, what's at stake on the ballot. But we're also going to have some political trainings, right, to let people know this is how elections work. This is what it means if you want to run for office. This is what this policy means. This is how to read a city budget. So we're going to be rolling out some trainings that really meet people where they're at. People that
And
we
create the
expect to
next
come with
generation of
us
leaders.
that have no experience, that haven't led, that haven't been in a coalition. We want to bring Black people into a coalition with each other, right? Everyday residents, business owners, not just people in politics like me, right? Sometimes that itself can be daunting. But I want to talk to everyday folks. So I want our youth to lead this, right? So that they can bring in their family, who's not going to be scared to talk to their daughter, to talk to their niece, but who can learn to be in conversation with all members of our community.
Conspiracy theory time. Now, one
Your
of the
theory?
one of the downfalls of the Panthers, and I'm pretty sure once you get more knowledge on the Black Unity Council, is that sometimes there's individuals who come who are intentionally sent or just the good old useful idiot who would, some people call them provocateurs, people who are going to come to try to undermine you or distort or get close to you and then distort. Are you concerned about that?
Always. Again, I'm a principled leader. I've been trained, I've been mentored by members of the Panther Party. I've read a lot of their writings and teachings about all of this movement work, about how the government, right, was targeting them, was jailing them. Like, I know the levels that people will go to stop Black organizing, to stop Black unity, because it's powerful, right? Even if we can get united on something basic, it is so powerful. Right, so I know there's going to be opposition, and one of the tactics, as you said, is to kind of even plant Black folks that might just be there as disruptors. Part of that is coming from strong facilitation,
And
right,
that's
who
based
we
on
have in these
Tupac's
spaces.
birthday question.
And even just, again, training and educating our folks on how to have debates, how to question, how to really disagree with each other in a healthy way, how to question and critique what everyone's saying, right? We should be critical of Black folks because we know many have been co-opted into supporting things that are not going to help progress us.
Yes.
Heavy.
So yeah, like I said, they're invited into this space, but they might get a thrashing in a debate session of like, no, this isn't based on facts or truth, and we actually, aren't going to follow this thinking, but it's okay. We understand why you might think that or be saying that.
Because even Tupac's mother and her crew, if you really read the story of Afeni Shakur, bad intentioned actors infiltrated their circle and attempted to frame them and things of that nature. But across the board, we see it all across the country that when someone really starts putting in work for Black folks, here comes some character with no history or somebody who gets close to you and then starts suddenly doing and saying all kinds of inflammatory things or and
the more and more we're united,
they womanizing,
the less
they
they
doing
can do
this.
right, and they'll make it look like you're some type of you're paranoid or something like that,
Conspiracy
but it's
anything
but it's a real thing.
Anything to magnify a quote unquote chink in your armor, to Trojan horse you in your movement. We've seen it through the annals of history when it comes to our people. And every culture of being, no matter your race, it's been this, you've had that happen. I mean, it happens more with us. Because the power dynamic that really dwells within us is the ultimate power. 10 trillion nuclear suns with us. If you really know what's up, you'll get that at 3 a.m. But when we formed Voltron, game over, bitches.
Yes, and that's it's not even about like a leader, how people might even see me. I want people to see themselves. I want them to see every Black person as a leader, for them to recognize the power within themselves, the power in our unity, united voice, united actions, even just how we're talking to each other and having our disagreements. Right, we can even say this is maybe what half of our folks want, this is what the other half, and we're okay. At least we got like down to 2 options, right? Like I'd like us to still have some conversation to try to get to places of unity, to at least know each other better, right? We can't attack each other as much on social media. If I've met you, if I know your number, if I know your friend, if I can call you up and go by your house, right? I prefer to deal with people directly so that they know me, and I am honest that I'm not a perfect person. I struggle a lot. I don't know a lot. And I'm asking for help. I'm asking for people to just be united with me. Can we all just be in the same space together? And I don't want people to see me as necessarily the leader. I'm helping to facilitate the conversation and the work between all of us. I want people to see themselves as a stakeholder at the table for Black unity.
Speaking of that, there is a question. Someone says, who is in charge of the Black Unity Council?
I am the founder. At the moment, we are launching on Juneteenth, and we're inviting everybody to be a part of our seed funding. We're inviting people to volunteer with us. Our first group of folks that are going to be working with us this summer are high school students from Oakland. We're going to be doing voter registration. So again, we're going to have voter reg for formerly incarcerated people, for young folks. If you want to start to partner with us, and again, be stakeholders in the work that we're doing, if you want to come to the August town hall, that is a town hall where we're facilitating a conversation. We're going to have our youth, right, our BSUs, our young Black students speaking about education, what they need, what they would like to see in some of the specific Black ed policies that are going to be running, and reminding people there's a school board election November 7th, special only for District 5. So again, those are a few of the things that are upcoming and how we envision it running. Yes, I'm listed as the founder, but again, this is just starting like in a few days. So I'm inviting all of you to be part of the seeding and to be part of the base of what this means.
All right. And I've shared the link on both of my pages, my personal page and my Cognac Confessionals page and my IG page. For y'all that's interested,
So more about my partner, I'll shout out Jervon Graves. He's the well-known organizer, union leader. He's also worked at spaces like the Bay Area Black Workers Center with me. A bit of his bio is also listed at the link. Again, I've been working with young Black folks, young workers all throughout the city, melanated, and trying to revive again this council that was started back in the 60s that already laid out the goals and the purpose. This is us building on our ancestors' vision, right? This is us seeing all the same issues are here. They've already laid out the system for us to talk about it and to move some things forward. I would say if it wasn't done right, it wasn't completed, we don't need to start over. We need to pick it back up.
Pick the ball up, pass it. We know that this is Juneteenth weekend. Juneteenth is Monday. I believe there's several different functions going on in Oakland and the Bay Area, and hopefully throughout the nation, celebrating Juneteenth, our semblance of almost free. So happy Juneteenth to everybody, and it's also Father's Day weekend.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. To all the fathers out there, stepdad, real dad, uncle, nephew, just male figures, I want to salute you all.
We're not going to add that qualifier. If you are a good dad, and they always trying to give us qualifiers.
I don't.
People have their own.
Yeah, I don't.
Mother's Day, love to all the mothers. Father's Day, happy Father's Day to the fathers who are doing the part, and happy Father's Day to the mothers who are playing the role of mother and father. And
you already know how I feel about that.
Whatever.
Y'all have a great Father's Day.
Yeah,
thank you.
Fathers enjoy your day.
Father's Day will never have the magnitude of Mother's Day, but it's just as important.
And it's special because it's Juneteenth weekend.
I don't call it new socks and draws. New socks and draws day.
Ties and cook your own food
right
day.
On time for summer though.
Yeah,
they asked me what I wanted for Father's Day, and I said I'd like for everybody to go out and have a good time. They said, "Where would you go?" I said, "See, you missed the semantics. I'd like for everybody to go out and have a good time.
Leave me the fuck alone." Yeah.
Dropping hints, y'all. Sometimes the best plan is for y'all to leave them alone for the day.
Have fun, chill. So I want to thank you for coming on as always. You be hecka busy doing what you're doing. I salute it. Last week you hosted the Black New World Media Awards. We could touch on that briefly because I had JR on 2 weeks ago leading up to it. How was that experience?
It was definitely a new one for me. I was the host and MC for the night, so got to learn a lot about just all the media work you experts do of putting on a whole show, having it streamed and in person, and getting all of our speakers and things together. But it was a beautiful night. We were in San Francisco, and we were honoring Black media platforms, journalists, artists. We were talking to radio hosts, and we have some Lifetime Achievement Awards. One was given to Emory Douglas, who is the artist who made so much of the iconic imagery that we see associated with the Black Panther Party. So again, we have living history here in
Didn't he make
Oakland.
that painting, the Good Times painting? Is that him?
No, I believe it was a different artist.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. See, we got to do our Black history. But again, he's most well known for being the artist that helped to set a lot of the Panthers imagery, a lot of their posters, even when some of their members ran for office. And some of that is on display right now at the Angela Davis Seize the Time exhibit, which closes on the 18th at the Oakland Museum. But the Media Awards was a great night. It brought in a lot of elected leaders, community members. It helped me get new shows and podcasts and radio shows that I need to listen to, right? That I didn't even know about their platforms. And so being a part of this paper has helped me to just connect to other independent journalists, other Black media platforms that are telling our stories, that are bringing our people together. And that was just a night to really celebrate y'all, right? To celebrate people and give them their flowers while they're here, to build unity among the Black media.
It's very important to give people their flowers while they can still smell them.
Yes.
I get that after people pass and they begin their ancestral work, everybody come out the woodworks of oh man, and don't get me wrong, some people just with the natural progression of us being busy as humans, because we have to remember we have to sustain our life and the way of living and support what we're doing. Yeah. So we can be busy and get out of touch and lose touch. And it's not, with a lot of things, it's not personal. It's not anything. It's just, man, I'm so consumed in what I'm doing. I may have, and then it's like, oh, damn, such and such passed. Damn, that was the folks. Man, that was the homie. That was the... So it's good to, like I said, you give you flowers while you're here. You're breathing, and I can acknowledge your existence, because at the end of the day, everybody just want to be appreciated.
Yeah, and it was a great time. It was good food, good music.
And appreciated. Appreciation goes a lot further than a lot of the things that social media and the world make you motherfuckers think is important. Yeah. Appreciation goes a whole lot further.
We also can't lose those spaces, right? If you don't appreciate them, if you don't listen to them, or if you don't watch, then we could lose some of those platforms.
Yes.
Right? We want to strengthen them. We want more people to know about them. We want to increase all the media that we have and the options to go to our people to learn about news or things going on in our community. Right? We need more diversity of media. So
shout out to
I'm excited to be here today and to confess a few things with y'all.
That's what's up. Yeah, shout out to my man JR. I think he's still in Cuba, or is he back yet? I know I'm following
back
my
and
guy.
ready to lead a whole other
Yeah.
revolution.
Shout out
Cuba
to my
will do
man
that
JR.
too.
You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing. I always salute and respect that, bro.
Please follow the newspaper, SF Bayview News. You can also pick up hard copies at many of the local businesses. You can also follow me personally, Victory for Oakland. See the links to what we were talking about today with Black Unity Council and the different segments for the other news that I'm a part of.
That's what's up. And before we head out of here, being that it's Pac's birthday, June 1671. The day my mama pushed me out of the womb, told me nigga get paid.
I'll drink with y'all for Pac.
So I want to. One of the things. Hold on, no, just listen to me. One of the things I do when any kid's birthday, it's also the day that the mother became a mother. So this is to Afeni.
Wow. Beautiful.
Happy day on becoming a mother, because she birthed the legend. So salute to her. Rest in heaven.
I
And happy
sure.
birthday, Pop. We miss you. We love you. The world is not the same without you. And the world would not be what it is if he would have never been born. I could say that.
I sure.
Um,
Even his name. Y'all don't know Tupac Amaru. Learn
yes.
the legacy.
I've been to the museum. I'm an avid fan and follower of all that. And it's been great. Like I said, it's Father's Day weekend. Juneteenth. It's a federal holiday now, so some of you niggas is going to be... don't fuck up this weekend. Jail is closed on Monday. Just like with all them holidays. Remember, don't fuck up. Be good.
Celebrate.
Yeah, celebrate responsibly. Let's extinguish all this bullshit that be happening amongst us. I wish you all long life, longevity, prosperity, and may your bank folds increase tenfold, but may your knowledge never lead you to arrogance. I want to see you all succeed. Salute to you, my good brother,
Thank you.
for all you do. Salute to you,
For
my sister.
fatherhood,
For all
children
you do.
raising, all the young people y'all support.
You know, I salute and respect y'all. Y'all know that I give y'all flowers all the time
Facts.
because, once again, appreciation is important. You can have the best. You can have a great relationship, sorta, or deal with some person, and if they don't feel appreciated, they be like, fuck that, I ain't doing this shit. Appreciation is real. Appreciate every day, every moment, every breath, every sip, everything you get to do in life, because it can always be worse. Tell everybody where they can find y'all, please.
Well, you can find me at Feral Films across the board. You'll also be able to find me in a voting booth sometime in the near future, voting for Alyssa Victory.
I love it. Please follow me, Victory for Oakland, on all social media. Click the link bit.ly/C Black Unity to learn more about the Black Unity Project that we are going to be launching more officially on Juneteenth. Again, we're going to have some interns, and we have multiple voter reg events coming up in our August town hall. So make sure you sign up to get informed directly to your inbox. But thanks all for listening. Thank you so much for having me,
Always.
Cognac.
You know, like I said, platform's open. We have a few guests coming in the next couple of weeks. We got some good shows lined up. You know, summer's cranking. I mean, the weather is bipolar as hell. But that's them, whoever controlling the heart machine. Can you fucking take a day off on this bullshit and let us have a real summer? Y'all watch out for Project Bluebeam. You're gonna start seeing aliens in there. Actually, let me be quiet before I get zapped on the way home.
More speaking.
Yeah. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you humbly. You can, you can be doing anything, but you chose to tune in to us and listen to what we have to say and our guests. And this platform is open. If you'd like to be a guest, if you're an artist, a poet, a business person, an entertainer, rapper, comedian, business owner, all around good person that just you got something to share that's intangible to the people, because we don't do fluff, we don't do the bullshit, but we will talk shit. But hey, reach out to us, and if we can make it happen, let's make it happen. I want to send a thank you to Ant. Ant always tuning in. What's up, my guy? Thank you, Keisha. Keisha's faithful follower. Slim tuned in. Slim got auditions next week for his movie coming up.
Right here.
Yeah, so tap in with my man Slim P. Movie auditions coming up. We got some things we working on. We trying to keep the culture going. We do it for the culture. And in the words of the legend Eddie Murphy, you understand where my ending phrase comes from. Now it's time to say goodbye to all my Negro friends. Hey, y'all be safe this weekend and take care of each other.